In this session, we will talk about VEX IQ Competition. Before we go to Slapshot, let's review the general rules. Teamwork Challenge is the main competition way for VEX IQ Competition. Two teams form one alliance, working together to maximize their score in each match. Each match lasts 60 seconds. Each team has one robot under the driver's control. There are two drivers per team, and they must switch the controller between 35 seconds and 25 seconds remaining in the match. Team Challenge consists of qualification matches and finals. This competition system allows students to learn how to cooperate with others, not only with their classmates, but also with unfamiliar teams. This is a qualifying match schedule. From left to right, there are match number, the field which match will be played on, the official start time of this match, and the two participating teams. Please note, the two teams in each match are randomly assigned by the Event Manager software. Such arrangement requires students to quickly communicate with each other in a very limited time to explain their robot's capability, scoring method, and strategy. In addition, they should also analyze the differences between the two teams and may need to change their strategy in order to make cooperation more effective and score higher. During the competition, students can also practice soft skills such as expression, time management, strategy thinking, and extra. Normally, every team will be given the same number of qualifying matches, usually 6 to 8 games, which is generally determined by the event partner. In Teamwork Challenge qualifying matches, every team will be ranked based on the same number of qualification matches and by their average qualifying match scores. This average score is calculated after removing a certain number of the lowest matches. Let's look at the left chart. If a team will play 4 to 7 matches, there will be one match to be excluded. When the team plays 4 more matches, 2 lowest matches score will be excluded. However, in some cases, a team needs to play an additional qualifying match. This extra match will be identified on the match schedule with an asterisk and will not impact the team's ranking. Like Team 9 in Q11 on the right photo. Team 9 is assigned randomly by the event software because this team has completed their own number of matches and Team 6 doesn't. In this case, Team 9 is reminded that Rule G1 is always in effect, and this team is expected to behave as if this additional match impacts their ranking. Finals matches are played sequentially, starting with the lowest ranked alliance. The event partner will determine how many teams will participate in the finals matches. Events that qualify teams directly to the VEX Worlds must have a minimum of 5 finals matches if there are 10 or more teams in attendance. Each alliance will participate in one finals match. The alliance with the highest final match score is the Teamwork Challenge champion. Robot Skills Challenge is another portion of VEX IQ competition. It's 60 seconds long and consists of programming skills match and driving skills match. Only one team, one robot will play on the field. Team plays the skills matches on a first-come, first-served basis. Each team will get the opportunity to play exactly 3 driving skills matches and 3 programming skills matches. In an event, teams will be ranked based on the sum of their highest programming skills match score and the highest driving skills match score. There are 2 options for Robot Skills Challenge. In a standard tournament, the Robot Skills Challenge is optional for all teams. Teams who do not compete will not be penalized in the Teamwork Challenge portion of the tournament. However, participation in the Robot Skills Challenge may impact the eligibility for judged awards at the event. Teams can also participate in a skills-only event. Teams in the skills-only event may play on a first-come, first-served basis or by a pre-scheduled method determined by the event partner. Teams' robot skills score are ranked globally based on the following tiebreakers: highest robot skills score, highest programming skills score, highest driving skills score, earliest posting of the highest programming score, earliest posting of the highest driving skills score. After the general information of VEX IQ Competition, now let's watch this season's game, Slapshot.
Welcome to the 2022-2023 game VEX IQ Competition Slapshot. VIQC Slapshot is played on a 6-foot by 8-foot field. This field contains 5 dispensers, 45 discs, 1 fence, and 4 goal zones. The scoring objects in VIQC Slapshot are orange plastic discs, approximately 2.5 inches in diameter and 0.5 inches tall. Robots begin the match contacting the field perimeter wall that is furthest from the fence. In this area, robots will be interacting with 3 types of dispensers. Each dispenser has a unique mechanism that robots can activate to remove discs. Each disc that is removed from a dispenser is worth 1 point. Discs can be scored by launching them under the fence and into the goal zones. There are 4 goal zones: a 2-point zone, 3-point zone, 4-point zone, and 1-point zone. Robots are not permitted to cross the fence while scoring discs, so they'll need to be accurate and precise if they want to score the most points possible. But that's not all. At the end of the match, robots will get a chance to stretch up over the fence and reach for the contact zones which border the field. If a robot is able to touch down in one of these contact zones, then each disc that is scored in the corresponding goal zone will be worth 1 extra bonus point. There are 4 ways to play in the VEX IQ competition. First, 2 teams will collaborate in 60-second teamwork challenge matches, working together to maximize their score. Both teams will receive the same points. Each of these teams consists of 2 drivers and 1 robot. One driver will operate the robot for the first half of the match, and the other driver will operate it for the second half. Second, each team will have the opportunity to play driving skills challenge matches. In these matches, teams have 60 seconds of driver-controlled time to score as many points as possible. Third, each team will also have the opportunity to play programming skills challenge matches, in which they have 60 seconds of autonomous robot operation to score points. No drivers allowed. The scores from driving and programming skills challenges will be combined to determine a Robot Skills Challenge champion. Plus, there will also be remote options available for teams who want to compete from home. Check out the game manual or talk to your REC Foundation manager for all the details. For official game rules and robot requirements for VEX IQ Challenge Slapshot, please see the VEX IQ Challenge game manual found at roboticseducation.org and vexiq.com. To register a team, find events near you, or ask a question on the official Q&A, please visit robotevents.com. Good luck and have a great season.
On a Slapshot field, there are 5 dispensers, 1 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 blue, and the 45 discs are on the dispensers at the beginning of the match. Robots can interact with dispensers to remove discs for points. There's a fence spans the entire width of the field. Compared with the previous season's game, there's no specific starting position in Slapshot. The robot should be contacting the inner wall of the field perimeter that is furthest from the fence. Head referees may ask teams to temporarily move their robots between two of the blank lines on the field for size checking, but there's no requirement for them to start the match in that location once the size has been verified. G13 mentioned the horizontal expansion is limited during a match. Robots may only expand horizontally beyond the starting dimension limit if they are contacting the expansion zone. There's no restriction on virtual expansion. Let's see some game definitions. The first one is contact zone, one of the regions of the field where teams can receive the contact bonus. Contact zones are bordered by the field perimeter, the fence, and VEX IQ beams. These border elements are not considered part of their respective contact zones. Contact zones are defined as the floor itself. They are not infinitely vertical volumes. Expansion zone, one of the regions of the floor where robots can expand horizontally beyond the 11 inches times 19 inches limit. Goal zone, one of the regions of the field in which discs can earn points. Goal zones are defined as infinitely vertical 3D dimensional projection of these regions of the floor. They are not just the floor itself. Removed, a disk status. A disk is considered removed from a dispenser if it meets the following criteria. The first one is one of the 45 disks which begin the match in dispensers. The second, at the end of the match, the disk was removed from its original position and no longer fully supported by the dispenser, means the dispenser has been triggered by a robot. Scored, a disk status. To be considered scored, a disk must not contacting a robot and is at least partially within a goal zone and not contacting a contact zone. Each disk that is scored in a goal zone is worth the point value corresponding to that goal zone. If a disk meets all of the above criteria and is partially within two goal zones, then it's considered scored in the goal zone furthest from the fence. Let's see the scoring. Each disk that is scored in a goal zone is worth the point value corresponding to that goal zone. Each disk that is removed from a dispenser is worth 1 point. Each robot that is achieved the contact bonus will earn additional 1 point per disk that is scored in the corresponding goal zone. In these figures, each labeled disk is highlighted to indicate which goal zone it is scored in. Disk A is worth 4 points because it's fully within the 4-point goal zone. Disk B is worth 4 points too, although it's resting on the top of the border of the contact zone. But the contact zone is only the field, so disk B is not contacting the contact zone itself. It's partially within the 4-point goal zone. Disk C is contacting with the contact zone, so it's not scored. Disk D is worth 4 points because the blank line is still considered part of the 4-point goal zone, and this disk is fully within the 4-point goal zone. Disk E is partially within both the 4-point and 1-point goal zones, and the 1-point goal zone is further from the fence, so disk E is worth 1 point. Disk F is partially within the 1-point goal zone, although it was fully supported by disk G, because the goal zones are infinitely vertical volumes. This disk has broken the plane and enters the 1-point goal zone. Disk G is fully within the 4-point goal zone and contacting with disk F is not relevant. So this disk is worth 4 points. Disk A is not scored because it's not within any go zone. Disk B is worth 2 points as it's partially within the 2-point go zone. SC4. A robot achieves a contact bonus if any part of this robot is contacting the floor inside a contact zone. The contact bonus is worth a number of points equal to the number of disks scored in the contact zone's corresponding go zone. Please note, if a single robot is contacting the floor in multiple contact zones, then it's not eligible for any contact bonuses. Contact bonuses are awarded separately per robot and are added together. Before competing, teams should review the general rules. G1. Treat everyone with respect. All teams are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful and professional manner while competing in VEX IQ competition events. If a team or any of its members are disrespectful or uncivil to event staff, volunteers, or fellow competitors, they may be disqualified from a current or upcoming match. G2. VEX IQ is a student-centered program. ANDAs may assist students in urgent situations, but ANDAs may never work on or program a robot without students on that team being present and actively participating. G3. Use common sense. When reading and applying the rules in the game menu, please remember, the common sense always applies in the VEX IQ competition. G4. The robot must represent the skills level of the team. No student may fulfill any of the team roles for more than one VEX IQ competition team in a given competition season. Students may have more than one role on the team. When a team qualifies for a championship event, like VEX Worlds, the students on the team attending the championship event are expected to be the same students who were awarded the spots. Within a single event, a driver may only drive for one team. G14. Do not cross the fence line until contact. Robots may only extend over the fence line and break the plane of the three-dimensional area of the 2-point go zone if they are contacting the expansion zone. In the figure, Robot A is legally crossing the fence line into the 2-point go zone because it's in contact with an expansion zone. Robot B may intend to cross the fence line and extend into the 2-point go zone, and this robot would receive a formal violation if it extended into the 2-point go zone. Robot C has fully broken the plane of the 2-point go zone and is not contacting an expansion zone, so this robot is in violation of this rule. G15. Disks that have crossed the fence line are off limits. Robots may not contact any disks which have fully crossed the fence line, regardless whether this robot is contacting an expansion zone or not. In the figure, disks D, E, and F should be considered not safe to contact because they have fully crossed the fence line. But disks G and H should be considered safe to contact because they have only partially crossed the fence line. Of course, rules G14 and G16 still apply. Please note, this rule is not transitive through disks. For example, if robot B pushed disk H into disk F without breaking the plane of the 2-point go zone, this would not be considered a violation. G16. Disks go under the fence, not over it. Discs may only be scored in goal zone by passing them underneath the gray PVC pipe. Robot actions such as dumping, placing, or throwing discs over the fence are strictly forbidden and will result in a disqualification. Let's go over some robot rules to make sure the robots are legal for competition. R1. Only one robot will be allowed to participate per team at a given event. It's expected that teams will make changes to their robots at an event. A team is limited to only one robot during a given event, and a given robot may only be used by one team. Teams may not compete with one robot while a second one is being modified. Teams may not have a second robot on hand that is used to repair or swap parts with the first robot. Teams may not switch back and forth between multiple robots during a competition. This includes using different robots for skills challenges, qualification matches, and finals matches. Multiple teams may not use the same robot. Once a robot has competed under a given team number at an event, it's their robot. No other teams may compete with it for the duration of this competition season. R2. Robots must represent the skills level of the team. R3. Robots must pass inspection. R4. Officially registered team numbers must be displayed on robot license plates. R5. Robots should meet the starting configuration. Robots can only be contacting the floor and fit within an 11 inches x 19 inches x 15 inches volume. The figure on right is a virtual reference that can be used to check the starting volume, but it's not a specific starting position. R6. The match configuration should be inspected. The robot must be inspected in a configuration that will be used for pre-match setup and within the maximum allowed starting size. Teams using more than one robot configuration at the beginning of the matches must tell the inspectors and have the robot inspected in its largest configuration. A team may not have its robot inspected in one configuration and then place it in an uninspected configuration at the start of a match. R7. Robots must be built only from the official robot components from the VEX IQ product line. Mechanical or structural components from the VEX Robotics by Hexbug product line, VEX Go product line are legal for robot construction. R8. Robots are allowed to use some non-VEX IQ components, like appropriate non-functional decorations, which are backed by legal materials that provide the same functionality. Rubber bands that are identical in length and thickness to those included in the VEX IQ product line, and 1/8 of an inch metal shafts from the VEX V5 product line. R10. Robots may use up to 6 VEX IQ smart motors. Additional motors cannot be used on the robot, even they are not connected. Let's look at the Robot Skills Challenge rules. RSC5. A team may handle their robot as many times as desired during a programming skills match. Upon handling the robot, it must be immediately brought back to any legal starting position. Drivers may reset or adjust the robot as desired from this position, including pressing buttons on the robot brain or activating sensors. Any disks being controlled by the robot while being handled must be removed from the field. Any disks contacting the chosen starting position must be removed from the field for the remainder of the match. During a programming skills match, Drivers may move freely around the field and are not restricted to the driver's station when not handling their robot. Please note, this rule only applies to programming skills matches. The driving skills matches are still governed by G8 and G12, especially for strategy evaluations. RSC 6. Drivers must start a robot programming skills match by pressing a button on the robot brain or manually activating a sensor. Because there's no VEX IQ controller handoff, only one driver is required for a programming skills match. Pressing a button on the VEX IQ controller to begin the routine is not permitted. That's all for the VEX IQ competition session. For any further questions, please contact us through the emails here. The next session is VEX Go and FAC.